Hello, hello, hello. This is Katrina Brittingham, your navigator on your road to success. This is Career GPS, Global Positioning Strategies, and I have with me today Alicia, Hurt Flex, Your Voice Content Marketing. We are on a different platform today, so I'm going to give her a little more space. Tell me about yourself and tell me about your business.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Great. And I appreciate the opportunity to come on here. So my name is Alicia Lisa Hurt. I am the owner of Flex Your Voice Content Marketing LLC. And basically it is a platform to allow entrepreneurs such as coaches, speakers, consultants, podcasters to flex their brand and their voice and their reputation, actually. Um, because, you know, even as I know we're going to get into this, but even as content is not very is getting more and more popular, but people don't take the value, understand the value in flexing your voice, right? But that's where I'm coming from, and my background is also uh, social work and mental health and things like that. So, in bridging that, I like to tell people that in order to really flex your voice, you really have to understand who you are, where you're coming from, with your why, and being able to really connect with your brand in order to flex your brand. And that's where we are.
And that is so true. I think what hit me is when you were talking about your why. Why are
Yes.
you doing what you're doing? What is your overall mission? And is what you're doing reflecting your overall mission and your vision for your business? That
Yes.
is absolutely wonderful. Go ahead.
And thank you. And in saying that, you have to be able to tell people that, because
Hmm.
people don't want to have to guess what you're doing. They want a lot of people, especially during these times, people are really doing their research. So, what is your content looking like when they're doing their research? They look towards the internet and things like that when the time came. And what does you look like? Did it look like this on your social media? Did it look like this on your website? So, are you really able to communicate that? And we would get into that as well, but it's just a matter of your brand strategy aligning with your content strategy. And that's
Hmm.
where we're coming from today.
And that is true. Um, and everything, like you said, everything in your brand has to line up.
Yes.
Everything has to. I tell people, I said, when people think of whatever it is you do, they should think of your business name. They should think of your brand. And that is the most important thing that you need to do. And it brings us into the segue of what this is about. And that it's more than just having content. Is your content matching your mission? And that's something as a business coach that I talk to people about, as a career coach, executive coach, a leadership coach. I let people know your brand, your mission, is your brand really reflecting what you want it to reflect. So whether you're in business or whether you have a career that you're doing, this is what people fail to realize. If you do not narrow down and niche down what your mission is, what your brand is, you're going to be branded, just not by you. And
Now you
so
that's
you
right.
want to be able to control those conversations that are going on in closed doors about you. And whether you're in business or whether you are a professional, those closed door conversations are being had.
Yeah, they're being had. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so that is going to lead me into the first question that I have for you today of the many.
Sure.
Is
Okay.
how does your content power up the connection between you, your brand, and your audience?
Okay, great question. So, first of all, I like to say that your content is pretty much your emotional bridge between your business and your audience. Okay. So when I say that, and I say it often, if anybody else hear me anywhere, I say that often because your brand can look, your brand strategy can be on 100, right? And you're out there looking good, your logo looks good, your image looks good. But when it comes to your content, how is that looking? And take that even further, when you have your content out there, is it really connecting to your audience? So what I mean by that, content is a tool that executes your brand strategy. So people need to know and understand, because if you think about it, when your logo's out there, or images and things like that, people are wondering. The audience is wondering. So what are they trying to say? What is that? What does that logo mean? But if you have your content, that can power up that brand for you, and it won't. People don't have to guess. They can have a clear understanding of what your brand is about, and pretty much that's the major way, primary way that your content can power up your brand and power up your brand strategy, because content strategy is about how you want to get out there, and there's many platforms to get your content out there. I mean, you got your website, of course, you got your social media, you got your blogs. Blogging is huge now. So show people that you are a thought leader in your industry with some blogs, but put the informative information out there so people know who you are, and be very, very clear of what your brand is and what it's about. Because so many industries are saturated. So I always like to tell folk, you got to know your uniqueness. What is your value proposition? So your content can help get that out there in front of people. Your content can help you power up the fabulous brand that you have already. So you need content to help you with that, and do it with clarity, and do it with consistency, and do it with curiosity, meaning be curious about what your audience is thinking, but be empathetic when you do that. Don't be rude or intrusive when you put your content out there too.
Sorry, muted. New
That's okay.
technology. Forgive me, audience.
That's okay.
I was study gabbing away. Um,
It's okay. I was trying to read your lips. It's all right.
I was what I was saying is, you want to be important because you want to be direct, you want to be to the point, but you want to balance it out where you're professional, where you're customer service driven. And a
Yes,
lot of times
absolutely.
with customer service driven is you're putting yourself in the place of who your audience is. You're putting
Hmm.
yourself in the place of who your customer is. And if you cannot do that, then you have already lost the battle, and you're going to lose customers. You're going to have bad reviews, because I tell people this all of the time. People will not really give you a review when things are going great.
Right,
But when things are
exactly.
going bad, people will blow you up. Okay?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And
They will.
yes,
They
go ahead.
will. I mean, and that's nature of the beast, and it's really sad that that's the way it happens. But um, That's what content and being empathetic is all about, where you can change that. You can change your whole situation, the whole forecast of your business if you
Mhm.
got the right content. So, yeah.
Yes, so true. One of the things, because we're talking about content, is what would you suggest for people? Because a lot of people are doing this now and was doing it prior, but more people are now. How do you maintain your brand or even restructure your brand when you want to rebrand your business?
Great question. So, I would say from the beginning, you have to establish a mission and vision statement. Okay. So if you want to establish or restructure, rebrand, then where are you going with it? What's your vision, overall vision of that venture? Right. So make sure that content is right. Right. So get that vision statement going, which, just for folks out there, that vision is about an overall future goal for yourself, for your business. And then your mission is how you're going to do it, right? The who, what, when, and how you're going to do it. But that vision is where you want to end up, right? By the time you retire, by the time you decide to sell it, whatever, by the time that business is up, you have met them goals for that vision. Even though I will say this, you want to visit it every now and then, anyways. But for that point, you want to make sure that mission and vision is done. Thirdly, I would say once that is done, then think about your business plan again, because of course now that has to be revamped. Get that content right on that on your business. Like I said, make sure there's a flow, there's consistency. You know what I'm saying? Build the same way. If you are restructuring or rebranding, the same way that you did the first time, do it even better. But if you are starting new, these are the things that you need to think about and contact your experts about, because it's so huge. You got to decide if it's a hobby, or if it's a side hustle, or it's actually going to be a business, because you need, and all that takes, great content. Now I can say this, you can go in, you can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. But please, I would advise you, because we all make errors. You don't want to put your new stuff up there and you got errors. You don't want to do that, um, because you're knocking yourself down from the very beginning. So mission, vision, business plan, and then you want to start introducing yourself to your audience. Right? Many platforms to do that. But when you introduce yourself, go in front of the folk, you can go live, but have the content to back that up, right? I like to tell people, my audience, to do your bio, right? Have a bio written. Tell folk about you, because you want to connect with these people. And then your bio is about yourself as the business owner, right? And the intro is introducing your business. And then that all aligns, that brand, you're branding yourself, and then you're introducing your business. That's your brand and your content strategy, all connecting and aligning. And that's what I would tell folks that who are starting up or restructuring their business.
Awesome. I love that. As someone who has rebranded,
Yes.
actually then 2020 was rebranded in the midst
Yes.
of COVID. Um,
Yes.
it's absolutely correct. You want to make sure that you go back through your business plan. I hear a lot of people say you don't have to have a business plan to go into business. That is true, but your business plan is your roadmap so you can see where you're going.
Yes.
It wasn't
Yes.
until I reviewed my business plan from where I was and where I started that I determined that I did need to rebrand
Right.
for what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Started out as a career transition coach,
I
and
remember
a
that.
lot of people went to saying, well, I want to transition, but I want to start my own business. So now I'm getting a whole lot of business questions because I had the years of business and then I had a business. And
Mm-hmm.
so as that, your business evolves as you grow and
Mm-hmm.
you start to become more well known. And every business who does that, even if they have their original product, because I still do career transition coaching for people who are in corporate, but any business grows to the need of who's coming for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it may not be a direction you want to go in. And in that case, then that's where you have your network and you can refer out. Because I tell people an expert is not just someone who knows everything, it's someone who can connect you with someone who knows. That's
Yes.
what expert.
Yes.
And you don't call yourself an expert, other people call you an expert.
Mm-hmm.
I tell people that all the time. I'm an expert or nothing, but everybody calls me an expert. Um,
Right. Right. Because we're still learning too. We
yes,
continue to learn. We continue to learn as well. That's
yes,
right.
yes. And so my next question for you is
Mm-hmm.
someone like myself. I have the answer to the question, but I know that there are other people out there as they're changing things and they're adding things on. How do you differentiate your brand when you have multiple businesses?
Right. So I touched on that earlier, right? So if you have so you're asking me if I had multiple, is that what you said? And
If
make
you
sure
have multiple or one of your clients,
okay. So again, each brand is its own identity, right? Or entity. So you need to make sure that it is clear, very, very clear, what each brand represents and who that target audience is for each of those brands. That includes your logo, that includes your mission statement, that includes your vision statement, but it also includes your overall vision and mission as to where you want to take that entity, right? Because they're gonna if you want that many brands, if you want different brands like that, then obviously they're a different audience. There's a different audience, right? So you want to make it clear who that audience is. Because if your audience, for example, if you work with females 50 years and older as a business coach, right? But you're doing something else over here, and 50-year-old, that is not at all, you know, for that target market. Because first of all, let me say this too, Katrina. You have to do your research to know what these folks' problems are and what problem you're trying to solve. And so everybody's not going to be your client. So that goes also for, even though you're the owner of several brands, you also have to separate and make sure those brands have their own identity. That's
mm-hmm.
huge, very important. So your content got to be right to make sure that's clear. Got to be right, as well as your brand strategy, as well as your brand strategy.
And that's that. Honestly, that's what I was trying to pull out of you. I was like, she's almost there, and you said, I was like, yes, you have to do your market research before you do any content marketing.
Yes,
Any content marketing, because even if you serve people that's 50 and older, they're still gonna be, you're gonna have to niche down a little bit more,
mm-hmm.
because you need to know in that population who your target audience is, whose
That's right.
pain are you solving, and you're not solving everybody's pain.
That's right. That's
And
right.
that's the problem that a lot of business owners have, where they're like, oh, I do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I would just like, because people, when I started career transition coaching, and I had this certain group of people, they was like, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? And I fell into it for a little bit, and I was like, all right, I got to pull this back, and everything, because I was just like, okay, I'm getting clients that in the industry that I came out of called PETA clients, basically pain in the clients. I had clients
Okay, I get it.
that didn't see the value in what I was in, and I was told by my mentor, who had started many businesses, sold them for millions of dollars. He was like, look, everybody is not your client. I know what you were told. You started out, because he read my business plan. He said, this is your business plan. This is what you're doing. It's two different things. And he was like, you started out on the right track. Now you have to get back on that track. And he was like, and now, again, to make your brand solid, now you have to go to your website. You're going to have to change your mission, change, what you're doing. And then I started getting clients that weren't haggling over my prices. The people that haggle over your prices are not your clients. Right. And this is what, you fail to realize. And I was told that. They was like, the people, for the quality that you are, number one, you're going to have to up your prices. Number two, the people that are haggling at the price point you are, they're not your clients, and they don't see the value. And the thing is that they know that you don't see your value.
Yes,
they're trying to negotiate you down. Some of them trying to get stuff for free. When I realized what my value was, and I held on to what that was, I was confident in my price. And I tell people, because I'm transparent when I'm a business coach, I'm transparent out there. The first time somebody, I told them my price, and they was like, oh, sure, how do I pay? Oh, I kept it, professional. But on the inside, I'm like, oh my gosh, what? You're not going to argue with me over this price, because what it is, people do not haggle over the price of a pair of Nikes.
Right.
Nike have one of the most expensive shoes out there, and people will be broke, busted, and disgusted, but they will come up with that money because they see value in it. And
their feet will look good.
Like with other brands as well. And so you said something else that was great when you were like, when you have multiple businesses and multiple brands, and even the products under it, you have to differentiate it out. You have to know what your clientele is. And this is from, both of us, have our businesses. I believe you're an author too, and everything like that. And I would just like, so even when you're authoring, you have a book, there is content and there's branding around it. And so the thing about it is, you have to have that. You have to differentiate that out. You have to have websites for everything. You have to, and have that written out. If you have an issue with getting and saying the right things, hiring a content marketer will be able to get down to what you need so that you can say what you need to say. And they're saying the same thing you're saying, but they're just putting it in a way that is hitting your target client. It's hitting your target market. I myself, being in business, oh yes, I hired a content marketer, because again, I'm not an expert in everything. I'm an expert at what I do. And I hired a content marketer.
I was going to say, I stay in my lane when it comes to certain things, I tell you.
Oh yes. And the content marketer that I hired, I just had a conversation with them, and they said things, and I was like, yeah, oh my goodness. That's exactly the point that I'm trying to get across. And so what I say that is because sometimes business owners, especially solopreneurs, and everything like that, or even small business owners, they think they know exactly what to say. They think they know exactly what to do. And sometimes it's hard to hand your baby to a stranger.
Yes.
But I tell people, okay, you don't want to hand your business to a stranger? Start networking, get out there, learn somebody. So when you're handling your baby, to be babysat and to get your content or to do your accounting or whatever it is you're doing, that you're handing it and you know that it's being handed into good hands. And we are going to go to commercial in a few minutes. But I wanted to have Alicia come back in and say some things. I see she's shaking her head, and I know she wants to say something.
No, that's all right. Go ahead to commercial. I can wait till we get back.
Well, we do have to wait a few moments for our engineer to cue it up. So
Okay.
please.
I was just going to say, I agree everything you said. I do want to correct you one thing. I'm not an author yet. I have put my hand in the pot. Have not done it yet. But I like to call myself a copy author. Because as a brand writer, I become the author of your brand for that moment. So I like to call myself that, but I have not written. I have stuff around the house. Let's just put it that way. I haven't put it all together for a book. How about that? But that is definitely a goal of mine. So, but everything you were just saying, it's so true, and you have to really know where you want to go with your business. In order to really live in it, live in your brand, and live in what your vision is for your business.
Okay, so the business coach in me.
Mm-hmm.
You
Want to
are
tell me, get to that book?
you're an author. You're just not a published author because you have works that are sitting around. See, I
Oh,
know.
wow.
I
Okay.
know when God
Okay.
speaks to me. I know when God speaks to me. And I was that girl too. I had stuff that was written out, sitting around, and I had to get that kick in the pants too. Put your stuff out there. If you need help putting that stuff out there, you got a business coach right here that has been self-published and went with a publisher. So,
Yeah,
girl,
I
get your
know it. I know you have. I know you have, because I was going to collaborate with you on a book, but
yeah.
there wasn't a time for me right then,
Yeah.
But I have evolved since then, so I'm trying to get some things done. So thank you, Miss Business Coach. That
Yeah.
gives me a little Absolutely, absolutely.
So while we're here, we're gonna see if the engineer is ready for the commercial. If the commercial is queued up, we're gonna take just a couple seconds to see if he is ready.
Okay.
How much are you losing by not having an effective job strategy? Current statistics show that 40% of semi-professional, professional, management, and C-level executive job searches will take upwards of 6 months, and most will realize in hindsight that they should have started their job search with the right foundation. The longer you are unemployed, the more money it will cost you. For example, if you make $30,000 a year, each month you are losing $2,500 a month in wages. If you factor in the above statistic, then you will lose a whopping $15,000. On top of that is the money spent on the job search itself. Save time and money by getting back to work faster. Our proven 7-week interview readiness coaching program is designed to help you transition into a new career. You will get hired. A 7-module course that will provide everything you need to launch a successful job search. 1.5 hours of weekly group coaching, and membership in an exclusive group where you can network with other job seekers. You will also learn how to create an eye-catching resume that will attract recruiters, market your professional brand on LinkedIn, and sharpen your interview skills. If you are tired of spinning your wheels, sending out numerous resumes, and not getting interview calls, click on the link below to register for this revolutionary group coaching program. It will pay for itself when you receive your first paycheck in your new position.
All right, and we are back. The commercial was actually perfect for what we were
Yes, it
talking about.
was. It was. I was like, oh wow, okay, I like it.
And as you can see, it's another brand under there, and it's
Mm-hmm.
his own unique brand. But it is teaching you how to present yourself and your personal. They say it prefer a personal brand, but my personal brand, and I tell people, is how I am with my family and my friends. My professional brand
Mm-hmm.
is how I am when I'm in corporate and when I'm in business. So I
Yeah.
teach you how to develop your professional brand and your
Mm-hmm.
professional brand when you are seeking a job. So if you are looking to do that, then please contact me. The contact information is always there, along with Ms. Hertz contact information if you need someone to help you build the content for your business and be that content author. I love it. Marketing author. Please reach out to her, and her contact information will be below, and she will tell you also how you can reach her social media at the end of this interview. And we are back from that, and we are going to go into the next question. Believe it or not, that the questions I asked weren't the questions that I had written out.
That's okay. We're going with the flow. That's okay.
It's always that way because I'm a curious person, so I ask a lot of questions. Also, too, please know that if you have any questions, you can put the comments in Facebook, and we will go through your questions and get those questions answered for you. So please do not be shy. Say what your questions are, and any questions that come in after the show will be forwarded to Ms. Hurt to answer. And the next question, and yes, I'm reading it, is
That's
what
fine.
is emotional intelligence and how does it relate to your mission?
Okay, I love talking about emotional intelligence. Okay, so basically, now I am an empathetic writer, which means basically that I am very empathetic in what a person perceives their vision to be, what it is they want to convey to their audience, and what is their why. Okay, a lot of people have difficulty communicating that, right? And most of the time, because everybody's not a writer, right? And actually, and to flip that, everybody's not a speaker, including me, right? Because I used to be, before 2020, I stayed behind the camera, okay, right, behind my laptop, right. But when you out there and you have to talk about your business, you have to also be able to communicate that on paper. You also have to be able to tell these readers who you are. They might not catch you on video. They may be me, who just stayed behind the computer and did research all the time. So now they automatically become your target audience. You don't know they're out there, but they're out there. And something you mentioned earlier when we were talking about having several brands, there are several brands in your industry, right? So they're gonna put that into Google search, and all these people are gonna come up. All these businesses are gonna come up. How is yours looking? So emotional intelligence, and I will connect it for you. Emotional intelligence is how you connect and understand your people. When you have done your research, understand your market's problems that you want to solve. What are these people saying out there? What keeps them up at night? Emotional intelligence is about being able to take that information and connect with them. Is being able to not you're being genuine when you're doing this, because it's all about really understanding and demonstrating that desire to understand your audience. Anybody can make $1. I mean, we agree with that, right? Anybody can make $1. But when you show people that that's not all that it's about for you, they're going to pay you. Not only they're going to pay you, but they're going to become your largest, your biggest, your bestest marketer, promoter for you. Loyal customers, brand loyalty is huge. They're going to become your best promoters, right? So if you connect to them in that way, and they feel you're genuine, If you're emotionally intelligent and can feel how they're feeling in a moment when you talk to them, and you react and interact in a way that they can see that you're genuine and that you understand what their problem is, you would get their business. And that's what emotional intelligence is about, because being able to do that will also show that you thought leadership. It will show that you're a thought leader in your industry, because you know your skill and you are able to show your audience how skillful you're in your industry, and they're going to keep coming back, because once the brand awareness is done, then you get that brand loyalty, and they're coming back to you, because they can say, you mentioned earlier about how people are willing to pay this or not pay that or whatever. Now, let me tell you something. Let me say this. If you emotionally intelligent, you're going to not only be in tune to your own emotions, right? You're not only going to be in tune to your own value, right? So if you go out there and say, look, this is my price, and they say, well, I'm going to check this other person out, I think they're a little cheaper, right? What is your expression? What is your thought process when someone says that to you? Mine is, well, go ahead and do that, right? But let me tell you about value. Let me tell you about my value proposition and what I can bring to the table, my unique selling points, and what I can bring to the table, instead of 100, what they're going to get with that. That's what emotional intelligence about. Emotionally intelligent people won't overcharge anyway, because you're emotionally in tune to what your audience needs, and you're going to give a fair price that aligns with your value and aligns with what problem you're solving. And that's what emotional intelligence is.
Absolutely. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I wasn't on mute. Absolutely. And that's, see, I want to define emotional intelligence with people. Emotional intelligence is being able to look and interpret the emotions of someone. And this is whatever you're dealing with. You have to be emotionally intelligent with dealing with your family, with dealing with bosses, with dealing with business, with dealing with clients, dealing with your internal clients, which are your employees, your external clients, which are vendors, customers, and everything. You have to have emotional intelligence when you're dealing with people. And no, everyone has a bad day. So somebody might come in and have a grumpy attitude, might be yelling, and it has nothing to do with you. So you have to
right.
how to manage people's emotions. We're emotional creatures. People will say, "Oh, I don't have any emotions." You're lying. We're emotional creatures. God gave us these emotions for a reason.
For a reason. That's right.
Thing like that. So you have to be able to get to the heart of people, and that's what emotional intelligence is. And it's doing your research when you're doing the content for your website. When people come, one of the things is when people read my mission and say, "Oh my goodness, this was exactly me." So you have to know who that person is and everything. When you're in person, you're face to face. You have to be able to read where people are, and they will show it on their face. It'll show on their face. It'll be in there. Even the most school person with this, if you look in here, the eyes are the windows to the soul, and they could be smiling and you can see all the sadness in their eyes.
All through, yes.
So that's what emotional intelligence is. just for people to know what it is so they know how to hit it with people. And you cannot fake emotional intelligence. If you're
Can't
not an
fake it.
empathetic person, trust me, you cannot fake it. People will be able to see it. You can learn emotional intelligence. And a lot of reasons of emotional intelligence is getting out of yourself to see that other person, to see that other person's point of view, to see where they are. Nike got it with a just do it. If you are a
Yeah,
sports person,
right,
if you want to
right.
go running, they got it down pat. And so is and Lord, let me stop saying Nike before they sue me.
Right,
That just came into
right. She using us to boost her brand. Right.
because with that and all of that comes trademarks and all of that, copyright and all of that is part of your brand, all of that is part of your content. So I'm going to stop saying that. I'm just going to say the sneaker company. The
Yeah.
sneaker company got that got that together, and they speak to people where they are, and they have their target market completely niched out. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where you want to be. You want to be able to have your content to be niched out, no matter whether you're starting out, whether you're growing. Lisa mentioned having, and I'm calling her Lisa because Lisa is in quotes. Lisa,
That's fine.
so, as she stated, you have to revisit your business plan. A business plan is a staple, number one, to see if you've outgrown where you are, if you do need to expand. As a business owner, when you start to bring on employees, you have to have that. Content marketing even goes beyond your website. It goes to when you start hiring people, when you start creating those job descriptions to bring people in, to tell them what this position is going to be. The one thing that gets me with job descriptions, and it always has, and I actually have not seen it in some here lately, is I think people are getting to a point when they tell you this, give you this little blurb and then say duties as assigned. What does that mean? Okay, and a lot of times companies took that to the extreme. Duties as assigned,
Yeah.
they hired you in there to be an auditor, and then they're like, oh, can you go vacuum the floor? Wait a minute, that's not what you hired me to do. Well,
Right.
I said duties as assigned.
Use as a sign.
No.
Yep.
And by law, duties as assigned have to do with the duties that they hired you for.
For right.
I'm gonna
And
leave that
that's
alone
not
because I
emotionally
want to.
intelligent either.
It is not at all.
No.
So it is connected, but I don't want to go too far into that because then I won't be on target. I want to get to the next question because
Okay.
we actually are almost at the 10 to 15 minute mark. We are almost done, believe it or not,
Okay.
having this conversation. Is Are you struggling to effectively hone and communicate your message? Which brands, um, uh, hmm, okay, so which brands, personally or professionally, if someone has that question, what would you say to them?
If they're struggling to hone their message. So if you're struggling to your message, that means you're not really sure what your vision is or your mission. That's what I say. So because honing your message, I call it honing your message because I mean you hear that cliche all the time, right? But I literally mean it because it's basically a pitch, basically what honing your message is. But when you say pitch to me, that's just like you're on Shark Tank or somewhere, right? But to me, when you're on day to day talking to your audience,
Mhm.
you want to hone that message. You're not pitching them because to me, a pitch is not emotionally intelligent. Because a pitch to me, and this is me as a writer, right? An empathetic writer. When you say pitch to me, that sounds salesy. Okay. To me, I want you to hone your message so you can really show empathy, that you can really show that you are emotionally intelligent and understand where your audience is coming from. That's your mission, right? But get this, your mission statement, your your professional mission statement can be strengthened by a personal mission statement. And what I mean by that is, what is your mission in this world? What is your personal mission as to why? So you need two mission statements. You need a personal one, and you need that professional one that you're going to hone and that you're going to share with your folks. That mission one is when you lay down at night and think about things. To me, a personal mission statement is like it's like admiration. It's like affirmations. It's like a journal, if you will. It's something that you can go back and look at, so you're honing into who you are. So when you go out there and hone your message and communicate your mission to your people, you're confident in that, because you are really truly connected to that mission, to that message, and you're really truly genuine when you convey that message. And that's what I would say. If you're struggling with that, then maybe you need somebody to help you bring that all together. Because most of the time, people who have a vision, where I started out with the idea, right? There's a reason they have that idea. And I know we're running out of time. But there's a reason they have that idea. Rather they went through the experience themselves, or rather they personally, or say like they worked for a corporate job and they saw how they treated their clients, but now they want to step up on their own and do it because they didn't feel those clients were treated well. Whatever your why is, you have that idea. You just can't put it in a message. So maybe you just need somebody to help you hone that message. And that's what I would say to anybody who's struggling.
And here's the business coach in me again. The personal mission statement is the pitch, and it is emotionally intelligent. The thing about it is it takes practice to get it there.
What you said, the personal one or the professional one?
The personal one. The personal.
Okay. Yeah.
To me,
Okay.
when you're in business and things, it's professional.
Yes.
So you have the mission statement that's on your website. That's all a whole bunch of words in a paragraph.
Right.
How this got to me, and I started changing things. And I was telling people that is the elevator pitch.
Yeah, and I love that.
And I was told that it came from being in an elevator with an influencer, be it a manager, be it someone you're trying to sell, and they're busy. You have 30 seconds from the time those elevator doors close until they open back up.
They open, right?
To get their attention. If you have their attention, you've connected to them emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that's going to get that person who's stepping off the elevator to say, you know what? I'm going into a meeting, but here's my card. Call me, or come on. And I've had that happen to me many times. Step off this elevator with me. Talk to me as I go to this meeting.
Right.
And sometimes sit in this meeting. I'm like, what? But so the thing about it is that 30-second pitch is not the sales pitch that you see on Shark Tank. Shark Tank gave pitches a bad rap, where they're talking about their business, and people are bidding for their business, and everything like that. And I'm not saying it doesn't have merit. If you're doing Shark Tank, by all means, do it. And I'm gonna just say, do that TV show, because again, we're going into branding and everything like that.
Right.
That's that. But the thing about it is, and I tell people, because I used to have to give them in the association that I was with, and people were always amazed. And I said, because I thought about what I'm giving to people. And at the end of the day, and I've practiced it, and I had people come for Career GPS, global positioning strategies. I help position you globally. But the tagline here is, I'm your navigator on your road to success. So I help get you from where you are to the destination that you're going to be. That hits emotionally. That's less than 30 seconds. and it gets the people's attention who is meant to be my customer. So there's nothing wrong with having a pitch, and it is emotionally intelligent and is not salesy. And so the thing about it is getting that message honed and niched down, and it takes practice to do it. And again, if you need help doing it and a content manager to do that, then do that. That's one of the things I didn't need the content manager for. My thing was making things big and stuff, and from my little pitch all the way up to the paragraph that's supposed to be there, and everything like that. And your sales pitch or your 30-second pitch will change depending on the audience, because you know it so well.
Yeah.
And you can tweak it to the audience that you're with and still get the same results and still get the same
and the platform that you're on.
Exactly.
But let me clarify something, Katrina. I agree with you on that. I think what I was trying to convey is, as an empathetic writer, mine is coming from a different point of view because it's all about emotives. So when I try to help people hone their message, I don't want them to envision that scary moment of trying to pitch. That's where I'm coming from. It's about, when we have our consultation, tell me your story. It's a part of your brand story, right? So that's why I mean about, to separate the two. That's what I'm saying. I'm not throwing away the concept of that, because I agree with it. And by the way, that show is one of my favorite shows. That I learned a lot of business from that show. So by all means, I'm not demeaning that either. I just wanted to get across that when I write, it's about coming from an emotional standpoint. And I don't want people to feel like, oh God, I got 30 seconds. If it's truly a honing, it'll come naturally. And that's what I'm saying. That's where I was coming from with that.
Awesome. And that's what I was trying to pull out, and to dig deep with it, because when you are doing that, you are literally doing soul searching, and you're digging deep.
Yes.
To get to what I was saying, that is you digging deep. That is you, and that's how you're able to hone that. That's how you're able to connect emotionally, depending on the audience that you are, because you have to do that digging deep, and everything like that for having that 30 seconds and then having that larger conversation. Because once you get to that larger kind of conversation, you have to have the substance to carry on the conversation. So that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. But I wanted to get to that because I didn't want people to be like, oh, I don't need a 30-second pitch. I don't need
well, thank you for doing that so I can clarify that. Yeah, thank you for doing that so I can clarify that. Yes, because different platforms, you might get an invitation. Okay, you got 30 seconds to come do this pitch. And it's going to be a pitch at that moment, but you have already honed your message from inside, from in here. So all you got to do is not going to feel like a rack of nerves because you're thinking of it as a pitch. No, think of it as that message, but you're just saying it in 30 minutes. And that's what I was trying to convey. Yeah.
Yes. And that's absolutely true, because when you have that message honed, because it's many people, when you say 30-second pitch and they're taking more of their time, and you'll see them all over the place.
Yes.
So once you dig deep and you hone that, then the 30-second pitch isn't that scary. It's always going to be scary because
it's always going to be scary.
Yes, you're showing everybody your baby and hoping they're saying it's beautiful. So
right.
It's always going to be a little bit scary, but what takes a lot of the nervousness out and a lot of the scariness out, that you can speak with confidence about what you do and what you have. It is that honing and that soul searching. I'll use for example, and then we're going to wrap up, is doing this. being in front of the camera, and again, this is a new platform because this is online radio, and now we have the camera up. Is having that, because is having that confidence. Is like, well, I can have the camera on me, which I've had for other platforms and programs and things like that. But it's just that, okay, I can do this with the camera on me. I do it every week. But so it's like, okay, now we're face to face. People are out there seeing us. And you notice with my emotional intelligence, the first thing I said was, "Are you okay? Are you camera ready? Are you ready to do this?
Right,
Or are we
right.
going to use the old platform and everything like that?" But when you have that confidence, and part of getting that confidence, I tell people as a speaker, as all of that and all of those things I've done, is having that confidence in what you do, having that confidence and knowing that you know what you know.
That's
And
right.
knowing what you know when it comes from a content marketing standpoint is doing that soul search, doing that digging deep, telling those stories to the content person, and everything. Because I'm telling you, I've been doing this for years, and when I started to rebrand, and I started telling those stories, things came out of me that I didn't even know was there. And I've been
Mhm.
doing this for a long time, so it doesn't matter how long you've been in there. When you're changing things up, when you're growing, when you're expanding, you have to do a little more soul searching for it.
Yes, yes.
And we thank Alicia for being here. We have about 3 minutes left. I want her to give information about how you can reach out to her, so you can tell your story, so you can dig deep and do what you need to do.
All right. So you can reach me. The most prominent way to get me is Facebook Messenger. Everybody hits me up there, but my website is www.hurtandpoetllc.com. And I am also on LinkedIn. So I'm on most of all the social medias, but definitely on LinkedIn. And my website again is hurtandpoetllc.com. I want to say this, if I can, to end. It's not being personal, it's being personable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's all about when you do that soul searching. And and I don't know if I mentioned this at the top, I am an emotional wellness health coach as well. So there you go with the consultation and that soul searching and my background and everything. I want to know your story too, because you empower me when I hear you and help you tell your brand story. So I wanted to say that.
And that's awesome. And that is the perfect closing to this segment. I didn't say it in the beginning, and I should have. We are live, streaming live on Facebook. We're streaming live on YouTube. So, depending on the platform, hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the
Yes.
follow button, do what you need to do so you can get the next segments that are coming up. This is the new platform. So even though we're online radio, is like other radio programs where they have the camera there, so they're on the radio and they're also you can see their face and see their content and see what they're doing. And everything like that. So bear with us as we transition into this new platform and everything like that. We thank you so much, Lisa, for your expertise. I was very excited about this show because I knew that it was going to be awesome. Because is again, people think content, and a lot of times their content is not connecting to their mission, and they think because they have a
Right.
lot of content, then they're going to get sales, but they're not speaking to their audience. So
That's
it's
right.
very important that you do that. And I am your navigator on the road to success. And I thank you and good night.
Good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome. Thank you.